Yo, what is going on, guys? Episode 67 of many. I appreciate all of you who tune in and enjoy the episodes. I know a lot of you continue to listen to the episodes. A lot of you are repeat listeners, so I really do appreciate that. I know that I ask this here and there, but please, if you do get value from the show, from these episodes, share them with friends, family, people who you think need to hear them. Or maybe your gym partner, people who maybe already go to Grizzly Fitness and maybe they should learn a little bit more about our history and that kind of stuff. So today's episode isn't going to be too long. You've got just me. I would like to announce that I'm doing a better job of pre-planning who's going to be on our shows. So I do have, I think, 3 guests booked for the rest of the month. So I do have 3 lined up with tentative dates that will get some other interview style episodes going. And then I've got a couple other people that are still on the waiting list that we've got to get in here. So if you are interested in being on a podcast, if you've got an idea, if you have a story, we're going to create an application process so you guys can basically apply with what you'd like to bring to the table. What I've done with a couple of my individuals or a couple of the people who have hit me up, what I do is I just have them send me an email kind of with what they want to talk about, what their focus is, their history a little bit so I can kind of understand where they're coming from and then just kind of balance, is that aligned with our podcast? Is that aligned with our, business model here or not? So it is my goal to bring you guys extra, different perspectives, different kind of value than other than what I bring to the table. So it is important to me that I do a better job of scheduling more interviews out for you guys. The ideal scenario would be like 1 episode a week is from me to you guys, things that I'm working on, maybe some mindset stuff that I'm going through, some new habits that I'm creating, because obviously that's what I talk a lot about. And then ideally we would have like 1 guest per week or something like that. So kind of just working through it here, still in our practice phase. For those of you who have listened to listened basically this entire year or for a long time so far, we are going to hit that 100 mark. We're going to continue moving past that. We aren't going to change anything up. We're going to still do Tuesdays and Thursdays. So again, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate all of you. I've got a couple things that I want to go over today. So something that I've been talking about a little bit is Q4. It's here. We've only got a couple months left. We've got 2.5 months left of the year. So we should have by now thought about what do we want to accomplish by the end of the year? What are we doing today that, we're going to say at the end of the year, I was doing the right things and not the wrong things. So focusing on that end goal. Now, if we've squandered some time over this year, I still think you have enough time to get back on track. So let's focus these last 2.5 months. Let's hit some goals, hit some targets. Even if they're not the goals you set at the beginning of the year, let's set a new target and focus in on that for the last 2.5 months. I do not want you waiting until January 1st to say, here's my new goals. I do not want you waiting until Monday. I don't want you to say, well, I'll start next week, right? These are all the things we say. The best time to start is today. So let's figure out what we want to accomplish and let's go after it. And, the reason I'm bringing this up again is something that for our Wisconsin people or for our Midwest people, obviously, depending on where you live, everything's a little bit different. But this part of the year, it's darker. Of course, here in Wisconsin. So it gets darker later. It gets darker earlier. Some people experience maybe what we call seasonal depression. I'm not here to talk about the mental health aspect of seasonal depression. I am here to kind of give you my mindset on this, this situation. So it gets colder. The days get shorter. It gets darker, there's less things we can do. We're aware of all of those things. And one of the things that I've been trying to do lately is embrace the things that we do not like. Embrace the suck, embrace the things we do not enjoy. And I think this is a good thing mindset shift wise. For example, I'm not a big winter guy. I don't love the snow, but as I've gotten older, I have learned to enjoy nature more and its offerings. So I'm trying to embrace that. I'm trying to, everybody likes the first snowfall, but it's by the, 2-3 months in, we're kind of like, okay, when's this going to be done, right? So something that I want to do this year is go skiing or snowboarding or find a new hobby that's out in the cold. That way I can look forward to this time of year. Instead of dreading this time of year, I want something to look forward to. And so I'm forcing myself to figure that out. Now, maybe I'm not going to be in love with one of those things. Maybe you like to go snowshoeing, cross-country skiing. Maybe there's plenty of activities like that to do. You're snowmobiling, that kind of stuff. So let's think about what we can do to enjoy that time a little bit more and how we can change our mind. So when we are concerned, when it's getting dark at 4:30, 5 o'clock and we're in the house more and we can't go outside and we can't enjoy the nice weather, what else can we do in this time of year? Maybe, and everybody goes through their own kind of seasons as well. So I'm not going to dive too deep into that, but maybe winter time is more for you to stay inside more and maybe learn more. Maybe this is your time to really dive into books. Maybe summertime you don't have any time to read because you're more on the go. You're spending more time outside, longer days, right? You can't maybe sit around and enjoy reading as much. Maybe you don't like to sit outside and read or whatever it may be. Maybe we're just busy with kids' sports or our own activities. So maybe wintertime is your season to sit inside, enjoy your coffee or your hot cocoa and read more. Maybe winter is your season of learning and educating yourself. There are these seasonal patterns that we all go through, and there's times to really hustle and go all in on your thing, your business, your industry, and really go all out on increasing that. And there's also times to like do your self-reflection and understand more. So again, I want to think about winter, or I want to think about this fall winter. I think really winter is kind of when the seasonal depression kind of hits, but it's with all this time change and weather change. So let's think about things that we can put in front of us that actually make us enjoy this time more than dread this time. Find new activities, find new hobbies. Again, if we sit around, and I talk about this all the time, if we sit around and say, wow, this sucks, I hate this, we're just, again, embracing that it sucks. And we're actually, it's like when I say you have one bad thing a day happens, but you had 20 good things. We only talk about the one bad thing, and then we've just had a bad day because we're really dreading, we're really talking about that one thing. So we want to take that same mindset to this time of year. And I think this can kind of help a little bit with that seasonal depression that some of us may get. Let's find our new routine, let's find our new habits, and let's enjoy it. So for example, for me, I enjoy working out right away in the morning, and I don't mind when it's dark out. When it's dark out, it gives me that mental thought that I'm up before everybody else and I'm doing what it takes to be better. And other people are sleeping, right? Because naturally it's dark out and that's when people sleep. Not saying I'm the only person who does this, but mentally for me, I'm thinking I'm going out of my way to get better before everybody else is even awake and up and doing stuff. So like I'm already that far ahead of the game, that far ahead of the competition, right? So I want you to think like that. So now same thing, when it's dark earlier, maybe it gets dark at 5 p.m., I'm going to read a lot this winter. I'm going to get a lot of reading done. I'm going to be walking on the treadmill in the garage a lot. And that's going to be my focus. I'm going to try to absorb as much knowledge as I can. Winter time is also a busy time for our businesses, right? The gym business picks up. More members are coming to the gym. It's cold outside. It's not as nice outside. There's just more going on inside our gyms. And then also our install business is usually rather busy in the wintertime as well, because January 1st, all these gyms want new equipment right before the new year to show that, or actually sometimes right after the new year to show the new members, like, wow, they're bringing in new stuff already, and I just started here. This place is awesome, right? So wintertime is usually busy for our install company as well, and then service usually picks up for Priority Fitness. We do installs and service, right? So our service business actually picks up in the winter as well. Because more people are using their gym equipment inside because they're trying to stay active because it's not as nice outside, and stuff breaks more when you use it more. So I want you guys to think about this. I want you to think about how you can attack this year's Q4, Q1, that seasonal depression, that cold weather, that time change, all of these things. I want to think about how can we win instead of sitting there inside and I don't want to say crying about it, but getting worked up and getting, just being not happy in this time of year. Let's figure out how we can kind of break through that. I'm not saying we can break through it 100%. I'm not a mental health expert, but I want you guys to know we can, again, work on that mindset on what we do enjoy and how we can come to enjoy these things more. So for me, I'm going to try to find some outdoor activities this winter. I'm going to try to find just some stuff. Spring, summer, fall comes around. You can go outside and go golfing, right? You can go outside and play baseball. Like in here in Wisconsin, we can go out and do those things. So now that we're stuck inside, what can we do? Maybe it's a time of, I don't know, like interactive video games inside because I can't go outside and play as much. Maybe I find a local place to hang out more often with like-minded people because, again, we have to be inside more. Or maybe we find outdoor activities that we like to hang out in the cold. I don't like the cold as much, but again, this year I want to embrace that and I want to figure out how to overcome that and really enjoy the weather. So maybe I'll run more on the evenings. Maybe when it's 5, 6 p.m. at night, that's when I'll do my runs. But I do know I'll be focusing a lot on my own education. I'll know this is my season to really dive into reading and courses and becoming a better version of myself. So that way when the springtime comes and I can get outside more, I can spend more time doing that and maybe reading a little bit less during that time. So anyways, that's my little rant. I should have thought about this a little bit more when I was talking about our Q4 goals and thinking about that. Everybody goes through their seasons. Everybody has their own things that work and don't work. But I just want you to hear from me what I'm going to be doing this year to kind of beat that. I'm sick of being inside. We eat more when we're just stuck inside because we're bored, right? So think in there. So that's my first topic that I wanted to touch base on with you guys. Something else that I do want to talk about, and I touched a little bit about this last episode, but I don't know how good I did at explaining my mindset here. And I kind of want to give you guys a challenge as you're doing this, because I think, again, understanding the world and its offerings, if you have the opportunity to go travel abroad and see new countries and learn new cultures and see different languages and not just see like the Americanized way, I think that gives you a very good perspective on life and its offerings and its people. And again, understanding different cultures and being open-minded. So I'm not here to say travel abroad. That would be awesome if you can. If you can afford it, go do it. I personally haven't been outside of the country, but it is on my to-dos to start working towards that and learning more about the world. So the reason I'm going this route, the different industries I mentioned last episode, I've been studying different industries as of lately and trying to understand, I want to explain my mindset here. So my business mind, I'm trying to learn how to run a business. Now, I think once you know how to run a business, and then once you learn how to work with people, I think you can take that approach to multiple different industries. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy to go from one extreme to the other, but generally the back end of the business and how it works is the same. We still have people to pay. We still have to pay our people. We still have to provide a service. We still have to care about the customer. Like the foundational aspects of business is the same. Just the services and all of those things change a little bit. So I want to challenge you. And so when we go into different industries as an individual, we're often 99% of the time a customer or 100% of the time a customer. Obviously not 100% of the time because you work for somebody and you're not the customer necessarily maybe of that business. But so 99% of the time we're walking around, we're more of a customer than we are the owner or a manager or staff of that location, right? So I need you to understand what all of those businesses really offer and not just have the customer mindset ready to buy. So for example, we go to the car dealership. We are a customer of the car dealership, but we should have an understanding of how car dealerships work. We should understand how they generally like to sell people. We should understand how they maybe handle objectives so that way you as a buyer can understand what they're going to kind of throw at you. I'm not asking you to be an expert at sales. I'm not asking you to be an expert at car dealerships, but I think if we all take some time to understand a car dealership and its offerings and how, if you go to a car dealership, you get a warranty where if you buy off of Facebook, maybe you don't get that warranty, right? So there are pros and cons, but I want you to understand what that is. So if we go to a restaurant and we're just thinking like a customer, I want you to think more like the business owner and look around and understand why they do what they do and maybe why they, if you're in Walmart, if you're in a gas station, why do they put the candy right here at the front? Why are they trying to persuade us to buy this? Like we just go through our day-to-day life as a customer and we're just wandering around and we're impulse buying because we're not realizing, we're not taking a step back on what has effects on us and what doesn't. So if we're in the grocery store, if we're in, like I said, the car dealership, if we're in, any industry, I'm not giving you tons of examples, I apologize, but think outside the box. Don't just think like the customer. Look around, understand, how they painted the place, how you would maybe change it. Like just start getting a different understanding of what you're walking into. I do think it's very important to understand how these businesses operate, how they do what they do, but not to like an extreme level. I'm not asking you to become an expert, like I said. So just understand how these places operate. I think it'll benefit you. The reason I'm doing this actively is I am getting a better perspective or a better understanding on how I can do better in my own business. I'm going into any of those businesses and I'm thinking about what they could do better for me as the customer. And so what I explained last episode is when us at a gym staff, gym managers, our personal trainers, myself, when we sit down and try to say, hey, how can we find more gym members? Like we need more members, right? We need to keep the lights on. How do we get more members at this facility? We're thinking like gym staff, gym owners, gym managers, personal trainers, right? We're not thinking like the customer that we need to get inside our door. So again, for a gym, for example, it's intimidating your first day to walk in. You don't know where to go. You don't know who's going to say hi to you. Like it's like going to school for your first time. As far as a gym goes, gyms are generally more scary for like first time users than a gas station, right? Because we're very familiar with that stuff. So we have to think more like the gym member and not the gym owner, the gym staff, all that stuff. So thinking about these different industries, and as I walk into them every day or I interact with them online, I'm thinking about how we can improve for the customers in that specific business. Maybe you're on Amazon and you're thinking about how can the customer's experience be better? And that's me as a customer. Now that I'm thinking a little bit more broad and not just like a gym owner, I'm able to take some of those ideas back to the gym and be like, what is this gym member thinking? What is this person that we're marketing to on the outside thinking before they come to the inside? So I just want to explain that to you guys. That's something my brain's working on. I find it extremely fascinating. I think it really broadens the mind and the understanding, and it's going to help me in business. And I think it can help you guys, whether you're in business or just your everyday life, of having a little bit deeper understanding in what you're about to get into and how things operate and how things work. Not just kind of hopscotch and, just jumping around through life and not really understanding how things work. Again, I'm not an expert in many fields. I don't even know what fields I'd say I'm necessarily an expert in, but try to know a little bit of surface level on all of these different things that you interact with. Understand a little bit more about Apple if you're an Apple user. Understand a little bit more about Amazon. Understand Facebook. Understand, again, the car dealership, the restaurant, the gas station you go to all the time. Where and how are they operating and how could they make it better? And I think once you start understanding that, you just you'll have a better understanding. So hopefully I explained that a little bit more or a little bit better than I did last episode. Hopping on to the next one here. Making financial decisions when you get paid. I'm bringing this up because this is something that I'm going through today. I'm recording this Wednesday. You're going to hear this Thursday or maybe Tuesday, depending if I get to do this interview right after this episode, but after this recording. So, making financial decisions when you get paid. When's the best time to buy something? When you have money in your account, right? That's what we think. We got paid. We're excited. Oh my gosh, what else do we need? How can we, change, this or that, or what can I buy? It's been so long since I've spent money. We just see that money in our account and we want to spend it. I'm bringing this up because yesterday I made some equipment sales. I got some of our invoices paid off that we needed to for Priority Fitness. And that money is going to hit our account today or tomorrow. And immediately you see that money. Obviously, at first I think, okay, what do we need to pay off? Credit cards, line of credit, like these things. But the next thing is, well, we've got more money in now than we did before. What do we need? What could we use? And obviously money is a tool. It's good to utilize to better position yourself. I tell you guys all the time, buy books, buy courses, educate yourself, become a better version of yourself. Yes, that's always acceptable. But just like taking a second and understanding, like basically the sleep on it method is where I'm going with this. So if I get paid today, let's wait a week before we try to spend some of this money to make a logical decision. Let's not make an impulse buy. Like, for example, we need a forklift for our warehouse. We do need a forklift, and I think everybody would understand if I bought a forklift, they would all justify it because we really do need one. But I shouldn't go out and buy a forklift today just because we got paid today and make an irrational decision. I should find a good forklift. I should make sure the price is fair. I should make sure the forklift works well. I should make sure the whole team agrees that we should get a forklift, right? So I want you to think when you get paid on Fridays or when you get paid every other week or once a month or every Thursday, whatever that pay structure is, don't just go and spend that money. Don't just go to the bar, go to the restaurant. Oh, wow, we made money today. You need to get in a habit of, okay, well, I don't need to spend it first. And I'm not one of those guys that believes in penny pinching either. But let's make logical decisions, not emotional decisions. That bank account looks good. We go and spend the money. No, we need to be a little bit smarter. One of the tools that I like to use, and I think I've explained this to you before, and this is not a financial episode. This is just one of the notes I wanted to make sure I hit on today because I am actively going through this mindset today. When we get paid every Friday, once a month, every other week, I challenge you to, you need to figure out what your expenses are on a month-to-month basis and keep that minimal amount in your account at all times, right? You know you got a car payment, your car insurance, your phone bill, internet, whatever it is. You know or should know how much generally you need in your account to make ends meet. $2,000 a month, $1,500 a month, $2,500, whatever that is, our base level expenses, mortgage, whatever it is. From there, it's okay to have some fun money in there, but I see what a lot of people do is they'll let that checking account number get up to $4,000, $5,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 or whatever. And when you have more money, and obviously if you're allowing that to happen and build up, good for you because you are allowing it to build. But I like the mindset of not seeing that money in there at all because it takes away that vision to even want to buy that stuff. So trying to keep that minimum balance in there, say you need $2,000 a month, maybe we go for $3,000 a month so that way you've got a little bit of fun money or $2,500 a month. You obviously make your own financial decisions. Let's try to get paid on Fridays and then set a habit of moving a good portion of that into our high yield savings, our retirement account, our Roth IRA, whatever that is for you. That's what I do. I try to, when I get paid, I try to move money into a high yield savings account so that way it's not in my personal account. It doesn't allow me to see that when I log in. My high yield savings is not the same bank account I use on a day-to-day. I use Chase, but I use Amex or American Express for high yield savings. So money comes into my account when I get paid, and I take a majority of that and move it into high yield savings so that way I do not touch it. It's in a different app, it's in a different account. I don't even see it every time I look at my bank account to see what I've been spending my money on or what I have in my account. So funneling that money over there, a good portion of that, whether it's 5%, 50%, I don't care. Just getting in a habit of moving money aside so that way we're not in that impulse stage of buying. If you get paid every Friday morning at 8, you can set up a recurring payment Friday at 5 p.m. or noon or whatever you want to then auto draw and move money into that high yield savings. You can do this with a normal savings account. I just say high yield savings because you actually get a percentage on your high yield savings. A general savings account, you make no money. So if you're actively putting money in a savings account, I would strongly suggest moving that into a high yield savings account and utilizing that where you get paid 3 to 5% to have your money sitting there. So anyways, this is not a financial episode. I want you to think though, when I get paid, am I making impulse buys? Am I instant gratification, right? Well, now I can go on Amazon. Don't get me wrong. I love online shopping. I love spending money. I love that instant gratification. That's that box showing up at my door. I love being able to go out and grab some food and a nice steak, whatever it is. But let's make sure that we've got a little bit more logic behind that, a little bit planning to that. And I'm saying this to you guys because I care about you guys on all levels. This isn't just fitness. This isn't just mindset and mentality. And this isn't just finance. I want you guys to knock it out of the park on all levels for your personal life. So that's why I'm giving you some input on where I'm coming from. I generally say I'm pretty good with finances. So again, use these tips as you please. I think they will help benefit you in the long run. So looking at my notes, those were the 3 things that I really wanted to hit on for today's episode. My last note was actually how I started the episode off. So again, I'm very excited. I'm doing a better job of getting guests on here. And not that I had a problem doing it before. I just have been very hey, let's go record a podcast real quick versus pre-planning when I'll be recording and who I'll be recording with. So I need to get in a better habit of forward thinking. We're also going to be able to we're going to be doing remote podcasts soon. So I don't require people to come to my studio, in quotations. Not much of a studio yet, but I guess it is a studio in itself. So I'm going to be able to start doing remote podcasts. I'm going to be able to have people on. My buddy from Michigan, some other people I've gone to school with in the past. Hopefully I can get my original roommate, in quotations, on that originally helped me start this entire business back when I was 18 in Colorado. So just stuff like that. This remote podcast is going to allow us to connect with more people and get more good content to you guys and share more stuff. So anyways, I appreciate you guys. If you hear this on Thursday, enjoy your weekend. If you hear this on Tuesday, make it a kick-ass week and finish strong. I appreciate you guys. If you want to follow me on Snapchat, Colton.Burt. And if you want to add me on Instagram, ColtonBurt19. Email us, Garrett@fitnessgrizzly.com, two R's and two T's. Again, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for listening. See you on the next one.